Hello and welcome to My Child and I channel. My Child and I channel is a channel for every adult who is actively involved in childcare and education. Actually, this channel is particularly for adults who grew up all through their childhood days, not seeing evidences of the principles and practices of children behavior guidance because adult interaction with children, we are filled with the noise and confusion of the use of control tools. The struggles of these adults are even more when they find themselves in foreign countries whose regulatory environment would not allow the use of control tools that they saw all through their childhood days. Yes, this channel is for you. It is for every adult who desires to acquire the skill to be in charge of every childcare relationship in which the child is supported to think and act rightly without struggles. Okay, I hope you've not understood the need for you to click on the subscribe button so that you will watch every one of my child and I videos. I am Uchenandoka, a positive discipline educator who supports adults to acquire children behavior guidance skills. I have a story to share with you today. There was once a time in one of my pregnancies, my teenage children approached me and they had a question for me. Their question was, of all the babies you've ever carried in your womb, who was most active? I didn't know why they were asking, but I I made this response to them. I called the name of one of my children and said, this particular one that is coming is as active as that particular one. And both of them were the most active. My children went ahead to ask, of the two of them, who was more active? So I thought deeply and then told them that that particular baby that was coming in that pregnancy was as active as that other one, but the difference was that that pregnancy I was carrying, the baby was moving with more energy than his other sibling I compared him with. And when I said that, they got what they wanted to get from me and then they left. Then the interesting thing is that when that child was born, she had the closest of resemblance to that his sibling I mentioned, behaviorally and physically. The only difference between the two is that he was a male while the other one was a female. You see, every child is unique, and the uniqueness of children are formed when they were still in the womb. So they were created in a particular way with particular behavioral pattern and with particular physical features. And no human being creates another human being. So before we see children after they are born, they have been created even while they were still in the womb. And I need everyone who works with children to know this, that when you receive a child to train or care for, you have to liken it with you receiving a machine to work with. You know that when you see a machine that has been created for your use, that machine has been created to have certain physical features, and the machine has been created to function in a particular way. And you wouldn't just start changing, recreating that machine, because if you start to do that, you will start struggling with the machine and the machine won't function optimally. That is how it is when you receive a child to work with. The child has been created and you just have to accept that you can't recreate that child. Every child is unique. You can't recreate a child that has been created to work with you. Okay? The child is unique in terms of his physical features and his behavioral pattern. How tall he will get, how fat, his skin color, whether he's a male or a female, he has been created. His behavioral pattern has been created to work in a particular way. So when you receive a child to work with, either at home or in the school or elsewhere, you note this, that the first thing you need to do is to find out how that child has been created to function, who that child is. That's the first thing you will need to do. Otherwise, you will start struggling with something that you do not understand. And I will give you tips on what to do with the uniqueness of your child. I will give you, because some children are introverted while some are extroverted, some are right-handed and while some are left-handed. Some children are sluggish while some are fast and hasty. Some, in fact, there was a particular twin sisters I knew. They were so they were so alike that I couldn't distinguish between the two. The only thing I understood was that one was always smiling, while one was always keeping a straight face. One day I asked one, the one that was always smiling, would there be a time I'll see you and there won't be smiles on your face? She actually told me that for her to keep her face from smiling, that her face will start paining her. And that was who has her twin sister was. Her twin sister was created to keep that straight face, and she was always smiling. So please, the point we are making now is that every child is unique, and a child's uniqueness is not an issue of training. Okay, I will tell you how you should approach your child's uniqueness. I'll give us tips. Yes, I will now give us tips on how to manage the child's uniqueness. You've understood that you have to, first of all, study that child to know who that child is. And over time, you will pick the child's unique behavioral pattern that were created even before that child was born. So once you've understood that child's unique behavior, I'll tell you what to do with it. First is that you have to accept it. Accept that there's nothing wrong with it. Accept the fact that one child is always keeping a smiling face and the other child is keeping a straight face. Accept accept the fact that you have even twins. One is always standing and pacing around while one prefers to sit calmly. Accept it. Accept the fact that the child was created like that and you do not know why, and you cannot change it. Okay, anything you do to change it will just lead to unnecessary struggles with the child. Then you've understood that as far as that child's uniqueness is concerned, you don't need to set any training targets that I will change this my hyperactive child so that the child will be an inactive child, a slow child, a calm child who just sits and watches. If you set that kind of target for that child, it is an impossible target. So what you do with your child's uniqueness is to accept it and positively communicate it to the child, especially for certain uniqueness that presents in very strong forms like left-handedness. If your child is left-handed, you need to accept the fact that the child is left-handed, and for whatever reason, it wasn't you that created that child. The child is left-handed. So all you need to do is to communicate to the child, you are left-handed and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. Communicate to every other person in the child's environment that this is a left-handed child and that there's nothing wrong with it. So communicating a child's uniqueness positively to the child and to other people in the child's environment is very, very important in the child's behavioral formation. Then, lastly, never you compare a child's uniqueness wrongly with another person's uniqueness, hoping to make the child feel guilty. You don't need to compare. If you have, maybe they are twins and one is always hasty and running while the other one takes his or her time. If you have maybe twins, one is a social butterfly while the other one is introverted. You don't need to ever compare. You cannot compare how high a bird flies with how high maybe an animal like a goat jumps. Okay, as far as people have been created uniquely, you do not need to compare them. So you've noted the things I said about uniqueness. Understand it, accept it, set no training targets to recreate a child, positively communicate the child's uniqueness to the child and everyone else, And never you compare the child with another person on the basis of the child's uniqueness. All right. And if you do this, you are on your way to connecting deeply with your child and giving the child the best of the support to form his or her behavior well. Thank you for watching this video. Remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel, leave your comments because you need to comment so that other people will be encouraged to comment. And the more you comment, the clearer the issues are to you. And share our videos with your friends and your relations because together we will make this world a better place for every child. Thank you very much.